Hey guys, Mr. Harris here, making a quick video to help you guys with the Keepsake Box top portion of the project. So, to just jump right into it, we are going to be routering our Keepsake Box tops on the tabletop CNC machines. They're actually Tormox out in the shop. Okay, before we do that, we do need to know what the dimensions are going to be for our top. So in our packet right here is the dimensions of our box itself. Here's my top. As you can see here, the height is going to be 5 inches. The width here is going to be 7.5. And the thickness, if you read through this, it says that we're going to be routering in about 0.5 inches. And it's going to be a depth of about 0.25 inches. To give this little extra box down here, it's going to act as almost like a lock almost for the top to stay on the top part of your box. But our boxes are going to be, or not our boxes, our tops are going to be about 0.625 inches thick. All right, so we have our dimensions. Let's jump onto VCarve and get started. Oops, I have it open. Close it down so I can show you where it is. This is VCarve. It's going to be on the desktop computers, and it's going to be on the home screen. That's this right here. So remember, you don't go into Google or anything to open up VCarve. It's an application. So it's right here. It's either going to say VCarve Desktop 10, 10.5, 11, or 11.5. Anyone will work just fine. But you're going to go ahead and open that up. Once it opens up, you're going to want to click Create a New File. All right, now we're going to look at our job setup. This is really important because if our job is not set up correctly, it will not print correctly when we put it on the CNC machines. So, first part, job type. You should have single-sided selected. There's double-sided and rotary. And rotary means like actually turning. We would need a whole other machine, or part of the machine to do that. Job size is the most important one. My x-axis, or my x value here, we're talking about our width. That is also going to be our horizontal axis. That should be 7.5 inches. Okay. My y is referred to as my height in this program. That should be 5 inches. And my z is my thickness. And since we're not actually cutting through our tops, it really doesn't matter about our thickness, but let's make it accurate. Our thickness of our tops is going to be about 0.625. So again, x is 7.5, y is 5, z is 0.625 inches. Zero position, we want it to be on the material surface. So what that means is when we find all the starting points for the drill bit, this zero position is saying that the drill bit is actually going to start when it just barely touches the top of our material. The other option we could do would be have the drill bit touch the top of our machine bed, but I don't really know why you want to do that, so we're doing material surface. The XY data position, that is where the actual drill bit will start in relation to left, right, or how close or far something is away from you. So that should be in the lower left. This should say standard. All that's good to go. You can click OK. All right. This first part you do not have to do on your actual program. But I do want to show you that we are not going to have this entire space to CNC on because we are routering our tops. So when we router, we're going to lose a little bit of space. I'm actually going to, just so you can see this a little bit better, that's pretty good. I'm going to make sure this is centered just so it's accurate. All right, so after we router, everything from this line to the edge of my wood piece is actually going to be on a slant. So we can't really CNC on that. So we're going to be CNCing in the middle of this. Again, you do not have to put this box in there. This is just to show you as we go through the video. All right, now you guys can put whatever you would like on your box tops. Okay, remember the things that I recommend you put on there. Text, if it's bold. You could put on logos or silhouettes. Anything that has a lot of detail is not going to work because we're using a small piece of wood, and we are using a very small drill bit, or router bit, but it is not small enough to really get all the really tiny details in. So let's go ahead and start. Let's pretend you just want to put your name on your top. Okay. If you want to do that, you can just click on the text box right over here. It says draw text. All right, it's going to drop that in. I'm just going to put Harris, and I'm going to make it nice and big, just like so. And I'm going to leave it like that. I could, if I would like, click on this again, go back to my text. I could change the font. Again, I've had better success with bolded fonts, but let's try something a little bit different and see if it works at the end of the video here. Let's go with something like, I do not like that. Let's just try this one. More of a cursive font. Make it a little bit bigger. I can tell you right now that the machine and the program's not going to like that there's these little overlapping lines in here. If those show up, yeah, I don't think it's going to let us cut. There is a scissors tool over here. And we could try to cut it. No, it doesn't let us. We'll see how it looks. Alright, so there's my name. And I'm actually just going to move this up a little bit more. Let's say you want to put your name and you also want to put a logo of some sort on. Okay? I'm going to go over here. Let's type in a owl silhouette. Alright, remember you want to look for silhouette. And I'm going to go to images, find something that I like. Let's go with, I don't know what that is. Hey, down here. Let's go with this. This guy looks good. Let's try him out. If it gets, oh, it's pretty. No. All right. So when you find a image on Google, remember you want to right-click, go down here to Save Image As, and we're looking for what file type it's saving as. This is saving as a PNG. You have to remember what file type it's saving as. If you're using your Chromebook, where it says file name, you need to scroll all the way to the end of this, and it should say .png or .jpeg or .webp, or I think there's AVIF. There's all sorts of them, but you just have to make sure you know what the file type is. Okay. Once you have your file type, we are going to go back to Google Classroom. Find my Google Classroom. I do not have it open. Let me open it up. Alright. Once you find Google Classroom, you can go to your class, go to classwork, and if you recall, under the resources tab, which is right down here, resources, there's this SVG converters link. Okay, I want you to open that up. It's just a document. And I have these guys down here for you. So we just saved it as a PNG. We want to convert that PNG to an SVG. So I'm going to click on this, open up the website, let it load up. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a file when it allows me to. Alright, I saved mine to my desktop, so I just need to now find it. There's the owl. Alright, then I'm going to click start, and it's now going to do the conversion. Alright, once it gets to this screen, now remember all we're doing is clicking download. The computer's going really slow right now, I apologize. Try it again, download. There we go. Black flying owl silhouette. Perfect. Go back to here. I'm going to click this button here, import vectors, or you can go to file and go down to import, but this button's easier, so let's click this. I'm going to go to my downloads, black flying owl silhouette, boom, there it is. Here's my bird. Zoom out here. And as you can see, it did not consider the eyes part of the image, so I'm going to group them together. To group things together, I'm going to click on this button. When it's grouped, the dotted lines become a solid pink one. But now, when it allows me to, there we go, I can move my owl around. So I'm going to move my owl. I'm also going to kind of turn him. You'll see why. I'm afraid that my owl needs to be bigger to actually print out well. Alright, so there is my two things. I need to make my tool paths now. So I'm going to click on this one first. I'm going to go to Harris. I'm going to now click on tool paths, and this is where you guys have to make a decision. Do you want it to be if you're doing text, do you want the drill bit or the router bit to follow the outside, just follow the lines? Or do you want the drill bit, or router bit, excuse me, to remove all the material in between the lines? That's up to you. You have to make that choice. This first one here, profile, it's going to follow the pink lines. This one here, pocket, it's going to take out the inside, okay? And then this guy, obviously, since it's the big one, I'm just going to be the profile. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to click both of them. And I'm going to say I want both of these to be profile. I'm actually going to use this one called Quick Engrave Toolpath. Okay? Your tool, when you click Quick Engrave, should say End Mill. Okay? And then here's where it says in this here, is it going to be an outline or a fill? Outline, remember, is just following the pink lines. Fill is taking the material off. I want an outline. My depth and pressure. How deep is it going to go? You should put in 1.5. Don't worry about this use nose cone to make sure it's not clicked. Then you can click calculate and push play. And that's what my top would end up looking like, with a little bit of a rounded edge. When you get to this point, I will need to come over and double check this right here, and then I will eventually click save, and I will save it to the file. We need to change where it says post processor as a CNC USB ARCS Shark. We want to change that to Path Pilot Inch, and then I will click save. All right, if you need help, let me know. Thanks, guys. Bye.